Good morning students, welcome to my class. Today I am going to tell you about the character named called Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is a very famous detective man, famous detective character in English, and this story, The Dying Detective. See, the detective man is Sherlock Holmes. The title Dying Detective written by Arthur Conan Doyle. Arthur Conan Doyle is a very famous writer who is writing some kind of this kind of interesting story. But what is the connection between topic and Sherlock Holmes? Here the title The Dying Detective. The detective is called Sherlock Holmes and he had assistant. See, I have written some clues here. Okay, some of the names, important character in this story. I'll describe what is the connection among them. First, Sherlock Holmes. He actually, in this story, we used to call him master, and his assistant, Watson, his assistant, and landlady. Mrs. Hudson is called landlady of Sherlock Holmes. And finally, there is one more person. See, Sherlock Holmes is the protagonist, and Mrs. Culverton Smith is antagonist. Hero, villain, you can imagine. See, next, some important matter. They plan to trap a person. They plan to catch a person. Who? Watson and Sherlock Holmes. But Sherlock Holmes made a plan to trap a murderer, but he didn't reveal what is the plan, okay, to the Watson, because Watson is also a loyal friend and loyal super medical practitioner. But Sherlock Holmes don't want to miss the scene, don't want to miss the sequence to catch him, so that he just pretend he was sick, and he was, he's in bedridden for the past 3 years. See, once assistant, he wanted to meet his assistant to urge to go there, meet Mrs. Culverton and tell him his real condition. What is real condition? He was bedridden. He was so pale. He's sick. He didn't have food or drink for the past 3 years. So that if Watson goes there to inform about the condition of Sherlock Holmes, definitely the murderer named called Culverton Smith came, and he used to his own confirmations of the murder he would give, so that they can catch the murderer according to the plan. But this was the plan of Sherlock Holmes, not to the Watson. Okay, then see, this element, this kind of surprising, interesting fact, all those elements in this story was stuffed in it. Okay, you will like the story. Next, I am going to take you to the text. Now, we will read in the textbook elaborately. We are very much interested in reading such detective novels. There we will get some surprises and interesting fact in it. So, in this story also, the detective called Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is a very famous character in English in such kind of detective stories, made a scene to trap a person. Let's see how. Let's see elaborately. The title is The Dying Detective, written by Arthur Conan Doyle. See, I'll start from the textbook. Mrs. Hudson, the landlady of Sherlock Holmes, came to me and said, "Mr. Holmes is dying, Mr. Watson. For 3 days he has been sinking, and I doubt if he will last another day. He would not let me get a doctor. I told him I could not stand it anymore and would get a doctor. He replied, 'Let it be Watson then.' I was horrified, for I had not heard about his illness before. I rushed for my hat and coat. As we drove back, I asked her about the details. Sherlock Holmes, a detective, he was handling a murder case. All of a sudden, he became sick. His assistant named Watson was called by Mrs. Hudson. Mrs. Hudson was the landlady of Sherlock Holmes. She gone there to meet him, but Sherlock Holmes wanted to meet only Watson, his assistant. So Mrs. Hudson went to meet Watson to inform about the illness, the condition of Holmes. She said Holmes was dying, and for the 3 days he has been sinking. He was bedridden. Then she even thought that if she will last another day. The landlady tried to get the doctor there, but Sherlock Holmes didn't agree to get. She couldn't see his conditions, his illness, so she can't stand there anymore. So she told him to get a doctor, but Holmes very strictly replied that if she wanted to call the doctor, then that will be the Watson. So all he wanted to see Watson, to meet Watson even in that stage. Why? Hearing those words from the landlady, he became sad and shocked. For that he didn't heard about the illness before. So he rushed to get his hat and coat. Mr. Watson take all this, and is very special thing. See, when somebody work in any detective agency, that the hat and coat symbolizes. While the both Watson and Mrs. Hudson drove to meet Holmes on their way, he asked more detailedly, "There is little I can tell you, sir. He has been working on a case down at Rotherhithe near river and has brought his illness back with him. He took the bed on Wednesday afternoon and he has never moved since. For 3 days neither food nor drink has passed his lips. Why did you not call a doctor?" I asked. "He wouldn't have it, sir. I didn't dare to disobey him." When he asked about Holmes' illness, landlady knew very little about him. Sherlock Holmes had been handling a murder case at Rotherhithe. There is a river. She thought that Sherlock Holmes got this disease when he went there to some kind of handling murder cases there. He brought that illness from there only. He was bedridden on Wednesday afternoon and he had never moved since then. Almost 3 days he didn't have any food or drink. While she told all this, Watson asked her why she hadn't called doctor to cure them, but replied that Holmes did not let her to call doctor. So she also didn't dare to disobey him. He was indeed a sad sight. In the dim light of foggy November day, the sick room was a gloomy spot, but it was the gaunt face staring from the bed that brought chill to my heart. His eyes had the brightness of fever, his cheeks were flushed, and his hand twitched all the time. He lay listless. "My dear fellow," I cried, approaching him. "Stand back, stand right back," he cried. "But why? I want to help you," I said. "Certainly, Watson, but it is for your own sake." For my sake? I was surprised. When Watson gone into the room, he scanned Sherlock Holmes' condition. He had really sad sight. The eyelids cannot open properly. It looks like when in the foggy November day, the vision will clumsy as he looked. The room didn't have the liveliness it looked like a gloomy spot, but his face became very pale from the bed. That brings chill to Watson's heart. Chill means here shock, because he never expected that to hear or to see this condition. His eyes were remained closed, his cheeks were flushed, his hands were doing in very short movement. His hands are having only very short movement. When he met him at once, Watson cried. Watson really sad to looking him. Watson called him dear fellow, dear friend, but he instructed Watson to stay back and to stand right back. Watson wanted to help him, so asked why had to stand back. But he says he was telling for Watson's welfare. Watson surprised why Holmes said this. "I know what is the matter with me. It is the disease from Sumatra. It is a deadly and contagious, Watson. That's it, by touch." "Good heavens, Holmes, do you think this can stop me?" I said, advancing towards him. "If you will stand there, I will talk. If you don't, you must leave the room," said my master. I have always given in to Holmes' wishes, but now my feelings as a doctor were aroused. I was at least his master in the sick room. "Holmes," I said, "you are not yourself whether you like it or not. I will examine your symptoms and treat you." Sherlock Holmes knew his own conditions, because he knew very well that where he got that disease from Sumatra Island. It is very deadly and definitely spread by touch. So that he said to stay back. But Watson decided this explanation, this reason cannot stop him to take care Holmes. He said before him, as he was saying, he just moving forward towards him. But Holmes said strictly to stay back, then only he will talk to Watson. Otherwise, if he didn't obey Holmes' words, then he had to leave the room. See, whatever Holmes says, Sherlock Holmes says, he will obey, Watson will obey. But for this time, his condition is very poor. He can't take it so easy. So at least he do something, or do some small help as a doctor do. And Watson also doctor that can cure him well. At least in the room, he can go there and diagnose him to examine him. At least he can cure them. If I am to have a doctor, said he, let me at least have someone in whom I have confidence. Then you have none in me? In your friendship, certainly, but facts of facts, Watson. You are a general practitioner, not a specialist of this disease. If so, let me bring Sir Japer Meek or Penrose Fisher or any other best man in London. How ignorant you are, Watson, he said with a groan. As he went near and said, Holmes did not know anything that he can't stay whether he like it or not. So Watson decided to examine the symptoms and treat him. That could be very bad. Holmes did not have confidence in him, in the matter of treating the disease. So that he could say if he wanted to treat him as a doctor, then he had a choice to choose to pick. Actually referred that someone know the disease. Watson asked him whether he didn't have confidence as a doctor, but solidly reply as a friend he is the prime. But as a doctor, he did not have he didn't have like that. Watson was a great practitioner, and but he is not a specialist of this disease. After hearing these words, Watson convinced himself and referred some famous doctors named Sir Japer Meek and Penrose Fisher or any other best man in London. What do you know about Tarponley fever or the Black Formosa plague? I have never heard of them, I admitted. There are many problems of the disease in the East. I have learned that much during my recent researches, and during this course I caught this illness, he said. I will bring Dr. Ainstree then, I said, going towards the door. Never have I heard such shock when the dying man bolted the door and locked it, shouted in an uncontrolled way, and in a moment he was back in his bed. You won't have the key by force from me, Watson. Be here till 6 o'clock. It is 4 now. Only 2 hours, Watson. Then you can get a doctor of my choice. You can read some books over there. At 6 we will talk again. Sherlock Holmes advised that how Watson ignorant. He didn't know anything. Sherlock Holmes asked Watson whether he knew about anything the Tarponley fever or Black Formosa plague. Watson agreed him actually that he did not know anything about the disease. Just then Sherlock Holmes explained the disease. There are many problems, many diseases in the east side. He had learned about this disease when his recent researches, and during this time he got this illness, this sick. Simple, the doctor referred Watson, and they won't treat him. They wouldn't know about this disease. Such a loyal man, lovely friendship. After hearing this, Watson decided to leave the room to call Dr. Ainstree, famous doctor in London. When he moved to the door, towards the door was closed. It was closed by Sherlock Holmes only. He used the long stick to close the door from his bed. And also Watson said to him, he can't go without the master permission. Master means here Sherlock Holmes. Master asked him to be there till 6 o'clock. The time was 4 then. Watson said that it is the madness of master. What he has in store, what is on earth to do this kind of madness? So master told him to read the books over there for 2 hours. After then, when 6 strike, they will talk again. Master will tell him that to get a doctor for his own choice. Unable to settle down to reading, I walked slowly round and round, looking at the pictures. Finally, I came to the mantelpiece, where, among other things, I saw a small black and white ivory box with a sliding lid. As I held it in my hand to examine it, I heard a dreadful cry. Put it down, down at once, Watson, he said. I hate to have my things touched. Sit down, man, and let me have my rest. Watson just wait for the time 6. He can't sit in one place for reading. He walked back and forth, round and round in the room, having sight of pictures in the wall. Finally, he came to mantelpiece, where the setting of fire under the table and give warm feelings. And above there was a wooden ivory box kept there with a sliding lid. As he was just touched the box, master shouted at him not to touch his things. He won't tolerate somebody touch his things. Then I sat in silent dejection until the stipulated time has passed. Now, Watson, he said, have you any change? Yes, I replied. How many of crowns? Put them in your watch pocket and all the rest in your trouser pocket. You will light the gas lamp, but it must be off on. You will have the kindness to place some letters and papers on the table with my reach. Now place the ivory box on the table with my reach. Slide the lid a bit with the tongs. Put the tongs on the table. Good. Now you can go and fetch Mr. Culverton Smith of 13 Lower Burke Street. I was hesitant to leave him now. He was delirious. I have never heard of the name, I said. Then Watson sat in one place until the time passed. After a few minutes, Sherlock Holmes asked him whether he had any change, but he told he had change in his pocket. Sherlock Holmes instructed them to put some coins in his watch pocket and all the rest coins in the trouser pocket, means pant, and asked him to light the gas lamp, but it should be off on, like effect of dim, and also to place some letter and papers on the table within his reach, because he couldn't stand sudden. I think you can understand that they are making some setting. Ivory box should be also there. With his reach, the box should also off open with its tongue. And finally he referred the doctor whom he had confidence in him, that is Mr. Culverton Smith. Sherlock Holmes asked him to get the doctor and also gave address of him. Watson hadn't heard the name before and he was not ready to leave him alone, and he is disagrees decisions. He is such a loyal and good friend of Sherlock Holmes. How can he leave his friend in this condition? Well, he is the man who has the knowledge of this disease, but he is not a medical man. He is a planter. He lives in Sumatra, now visiting London. I didn't want you to go before 6 because you wouldn't have found him in his study. I hope you will be able to persuade him to come. You will tell him exactly how you have left me. He said, you must tell him that I am dying. Plead with him, Watson. I'll bring him in a cab. I said, no, you will persuade him to come and return before him. Make any excuse. Remember this, Watson. He told everything to get the man, Mr. Culverton. He is not a doctor but a planter. He lives in Sumatra where he get the disease, where Sherlock Holmes get the disease. But not he's in now he visited in London. He will be there in his study room at exact 6 o'clock. So master asked Watson to go exact 6 and also told the real condition of Sherlock Holmes that then only he will agree to come, and he is going to die. Then only he will agree to cure him. But Watson has to make some urge. He has to make him urge to come fast. He has to make him urge to come fast, the man at once. Watson agreed to do as his master said, but Culverton Smith, he could bring him in the cab, but master told him once he convinced Culverton to come there, made some excuses and reached there before he arrived. I saw Mrs. Hudson was waiting outside, trembling and crying below as I waited for the cab. I met Inspector Morton of the Scotland Yard. He was not in his uniform. How is he? Asked Inspector Morton. He is very ill, I answered. I reached Mr. Culverton Smith's house. The butler appeared at the doorway. Through the off-open door, I heard a man's voice telling the butler, I am not at home, say so. I pushed past the butler and entered the room. I saw a frail man with a bald head sitting. I am sorry, I said, but the matter cannot be delayed. Mr. Sherlock Holmes. The mere mention of his name had a different effect on the man. When he charged to do his duty, he saw the landlady waiting outside. Along with Inspector Martin, he was in civilian cloth. The inspector asked the master's condition that he was very ill. When Watson reached there to take Culbert and Smith, Butler, in their home, Butler appeared and the door was off open. Watson heard Culbert and Smith voice that he is instructed his butler. He was not at home, but don't dare to disobey his master, So went inside and apologized to him. That looked at him. His face was very weak and bald head. When he continues to tell him about Sherlock Holmes, when he didn't listen, when he taken his name as a Sherlock Holmes, there was a sudden reaction in his face, in Smith's face. Why? Have you come from Holmes? How is he? He asked. He is very ill. That is why I have come. Mr. Holmes has a high opinion of you and thought you are the only man in London who can help him. The little man was startled. Why? He asked. Because of your knowledge of the Eastern disease, I replied. Watson started explaining, the man asked him how Sherlock Holmes, he was started explaining the conditions. He is going to die. Culverton, Smith only could cure the disease because he needs the man who can help only the Culverton. He was shocked and asked why Watson about because Watson told Sherlock Holmes' high opinions on Culverton that he could only cure the disease and he has that knowledge of the disease because he also from Sumatra, right? So belongs to Eastern, he might have that knowledge of this. How did he get it? He asked. I told him everything. He smiled and agreed to come. Pretending that I had some other appointment, I left him. With a sinking heart, I reached Holmes' room. I told him that Mr. Smith was coming. Well done, Watson, he said. You have done everything that a good friend could do. Now you disappear to the next room and don't speak or come here. Finally, Culverton agreed to come, but Watson made some excuses that he had another appointment as his master said. He reported his master, Culverton Smith, was coming home. Master appreciated him and told him to hide in the next room without speaking or making noise. Here we can understand that should be a trap for Mr. Culverton. I heard the footsteps. I heard a voice say, Holmes, can you hear me? Is that you, Mr. Smith? Holmes whispered. You know what is wrong with me. You are the only one in London who can cure me. Do you know the symptoms? Asked Smith. Only too well, Mr. Smith, and he described the symptoms. Watson in the next room heard the footstep of Smith. They both are talking about the disease. Smith asked the symptoms of the disease only too well. It means he's well, and described the symptoms. What the master and Smith was talking about. They are the same Holmes. Smith said, poor Victor was a dead man. On the fourth day, a strong and healthy young man. What a coincidence indeed. I know that you did, said Holmes. Well, you can't prove it. Give me water, please. Holmes groaned. Here, I heard Smith's voice. Smith said they are same symptoms like Victor had. Victor, a dead man, he passed away on his fourth day as he was though he was a strong and a healthy young man. So finally Victor killed by Smith. Master knew it but can't prove it. Once again for the confirmation, Smith only did the murder. But for then he asked water after he will forget about the murder case. Cure me please. Well, about Victor Savage's death, you did it. I'll forget everything but cure me. I'll forget about it. You can't forget or remember just as you like. It does not matter to me how my nephew died. Watson said you got it from the Chinese sailors. Could there be any reason? I can't think. My mind is gone. Help me, pleaded Holmes. For the reply from the Sherlock Holmes, just it won't be remember or forget as master wish. Victor's is Culverton's nephew. Culverton Smith asked him to, he got the disease from Chinese as informed Watson, and also asked any other reason behind it. Holmes can't go, or his mind is not stable, so he can't say anything. Did anything come by post? A box by chance on Wednesday? Yes, I opened it, and there was a sharp spring in it, inside it. A joke, perhaps. It drew blood, said Holmes. No, it was not a joke, you fool. You have got it. Who asked you to cross my path? You knew too much about Victor's death. Your end is near, Holmes. I'll carry this box in my pocket, the last piece of evidence. Culverton Smith asked him whether he received any box on Wednesday. I hope you remember on Wednesday this itself he was bedridden. Master received the box and opened it. There was a sharp spring in it. It had blood mark. Maybe that was a joke that somebody made him. Maybe it is a kind of threat. Actually, that was not a joke, a kind of threat, from Culverton Smith. Now Smith is going to take that ivory box where the master collected last evidence against him. Turn up the gas, Smith, said Holmes in his natural voice. Yes, I will, so that I can see you better. There was a silence. Then he heard Smith say, What's all this? Successful acting, said Holmes. For 3 days I didn't taste anything, neither food nor drink. From the natural voice, master asked him to light up the lamp. Smith says he will do so that he could see the last moment of him. Once he heard that natural voice of him, Smith undergone shock. He went on shock and asked what was all. Finally, Sherlock Holmes was acting to trap Culverton to give his own confirmation that for the murder case. For the past 3 days, he haven't had anything. There were footsteps outside. The door opened and I heard Inspector Martin's voice. I arrest you on charge of murder, he said. If so, let me bring Sir Jasper Meek or Penrose Fisher or Holmes. There was a sudden rush and scuffle followed by the clash of iron and sudden cry of pain. There was a click of handcuffs. Holmes asked me to come in. When Watson in the next room listened their conversation and also heard Martin, the inspector arrested him on the charge of murder case and also bring Jasper Meek and Penrose and Holmes. Suddenly there was a cry, with the sound of cry. Smith was crying by the click of handcuffs. Watson this all happened once. He was arrested. Once the Smith was arrested, Watson got inside the room. Sorry, Watson, I was rude to you. I undermined your capability as a doctor. It was just to get Smith here, and I didn't want you to know that I was not ill. But your appearance, I said. 3 days fasting and the makeup did the trick. The master Sherlock Holmes made apologize him for underestimating his doctor skill only to get, this all happened only to catch the Smith there. The appearances of 3 days fasting and also some makeup did as it is, look like a pale face. The coins, that was only to prove that I was delirious, he laughed. I need to eat now, Watson. Mr. Smith killed his nephew and he wanted to kill me the same way to avoid imprisonment. I need to eat now, Watson. I think that something nutritious at Simpson's would not be out of place. And thank you, Watson, he said. The coins to make some scene for the liveliness. Master explained everything that Smith had killed his nephew called Victor, and the same way he wanted to kill the master also, and he don't want to miss the scene, so that is why he didn't tell anything to Watson. After then he wanted to eat. Master wanted to eat some nutritious food. He asked to serve him, and it was actually Watson served his role was very grateful and also effort to Sherlock Holmes thanked for the wonderful cooperation to Watson. Detectives always think rather the normals. Here Sherlock Holmes, we don't want to say anything because the history says about him. Sherlock Holmes is a very, very famous character in such detective novels, and how he planned, we thinking different, but he thinks very, really different. Sometimes it is very necessary, it is compulsory to behave like this. If you are handling any case, if you wanted to do something or trap a person or to make confirmation, we have to have we have to think some different way. That is was here Sherlock Holmes did. Okay, he is international figure. The assignment of today's classes will read the synonyms and also some question answers, book back question answers. Thank you.